Thank you, everyone. I would like to open this meeting of the Basin 162 Groundwater Management Plan Advisory Committee and the joint meeting with the Nye County Water District Governing Board of Monday, October 12th, 2015. Again, if you could please turn your phones on silent, I would greatly appreciate it. Item number 3, general public comment first. A 3-minute time limit per person. Action will not be taken on the matters considered during this period until specifically included on an agenda as an action item.
A lot of people. I would like to thank every one of you for your confidence and respect in appointing me to the Basin 162 Groundwater Management Plan Advisory Committee. It was my hope to be part of finding a fair and equitable solution to the ongoing water issues in our valley. I feel that objective has failed due to the dominant utility and developer interests in this board. Since the very beginning, I had reservations in this endeavor, that this endeavor may be doomed to fail by appointing 3 of the 7 voting seats to utility companies. In disregarding the Well Owners Co-op. I do not believe that an advisory board has, nor should it have, the power to implement policy. Procedures, and most of all, lobby for legislation changes. With these thoughts in mind, I submit my formal resignation and have no desire to be associated with Stage 2, as I find it highly unethical and possibly illegal. Now, it is my wish that that man take my seat at the table to carry on the business of this committee. That man is Kenny Bent. Thank you.
Please hold your applause. That is on our agenda, and we will address that shortly. Do we have any other further general public comment not on this item?
This is not on the agenda, so I'm going to speak it very frankly and quick. There's only one person left on this board as a voting member right now. The rest of you need to resign and get out of here. We'll appoint our own water board.
Again, please hold your applause.
That a conflict of interest in building and developing the real estate properties in this county is against you sitting on this board. Now that's the law of the state of Nevada, okay? Now none of us want our wells taken away from us or metered. That's another imposition of the government on private people who don't want it. That's why I moved here. I'm sure a lot of people moved here to get away from Las Vegas. I read the master plan. You want to develop this place to 88,000 people? Are you delusional? You'd have a traffic line from 160 down to Pahrump Valley Boulevard to make a left-hand turn. This has got to stop. And I suggest that you recuse yourself from this board, and Mr. Floyd too. I don't know you personally, but I know that your families have developed this whole valley, and it's commercial, it's money, it's real estate. You want to be millionaires? That's great, but don't do it on my back. That's all I got to say.
Please, I'm going to close general public comment now, seeing nobody else sitting at the table, and we will move.
Just wait 1 minute.
Oh. Last one. Please, go right ahead.
You're taking something from the people to go make money with it, whether it's tax money or whether it's other money. When you put a meter on the well, it's only to do one thing, to tell us how much water we can't use, how much more money you're going to charge us. We don't want to do that. Nobody wants that. Thank you. I appreciate your minute.
Thank you. And this will be our last public comment.
I'm standing and watching this audience, and my heart breaks. I too moved here because I believed that I was moving to a wonderful little community, and the real estate guy told me I had about 2 acre-feet of water every year. So I thought, you know, this is cool. So I have planted many trees. All of my trees are now threatened. I don't like that. But you know, the thing that really bothers me the most is I hear about human rights. Why, we have a right to housing and we have a right to health care. I don't know about that. But what I do know is we have a right to water. It's ours. And I don't think that anybody has a right to start taking our water away. This is wrong.
And as you can see, we have a vacancy with Christian Benson's resignation. We cannot permanently seat an alternate today, but we do have the option of temporarily filling the vacancy until we can get it on the agenda to permanently replace the vacancy.
We, as county commissioners, seated you, and we have the authority to recommend that you seat Benny Kent permanently as a member of this board. There's no reason not to.
We don't have any bylaws. Yeah, that's a recommendation. I've read this, thank you.
And Mr. Dan, that's what I was just stating. That's actually what this committee's voted on for the process, and that's why we are voting, potentially. We've got
Yeah.
an agenda item to fill the temporary vacancy.
But what my question is a vote appropriate when there's no bylaws, and the only thing that we're going by is a recommendation by staff? That doesn't seem appropriate to me. And this is
It is what this committee voted on and decided that we would handle a process like this. So today, we have a vacancy, we have an alternate. We
Well-
can entertain a motion, or we can talk about it all day.
Well, this
Your choice.
is, the point is this. This is the crux of the whole thing. We have one alternate. We had two. One's out of state. Kenny's the only alternate left standing in the room right now.
I'd like to make a motion.
So let's just say he's it, because who else are you going to vote for?
People, please. Mr. Dan, if you would like to make the motion, I'm entertaining the motion.
I'll make a motion that Kenny Bent be retained on this committee indefinitely.
Yeah, Mr. Dan, we're only agendized for this meeting. I've
I
asked
may-
staff to put on our next agenda.
Okay.
To permanently seat. But we can vote today. We can vote, excuse me, please.
I'll change my
So
motion.
if you'd change your motion to
I
today's
make a
meeting.
motion to seat Kenny Bent today for today's meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Dan. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion. I have by Mr. Dan. I have a second by Mr. Coover. I will call, is there any further discussion? And then if not, I'll call for the vote, starting with Mrs. Barnett.
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That fails 3-3.
Greg, if I can interrupt, is it,
Hey, excuse me. Let's have a little order during the meeting. Thank you. Mr. Dan.
is it appropriate to deny an alternate when now we're at we're at 6 people? It doesn't make any sense to me, Greg, is what I'm trying to say. It would be better and more effective for the committee to go forth with a full 7-member committee than 6 people. You see what I'm saying? Doesn't that common sense? I mean,
The vote has occurred. We're going to have to move on. Unless I have another motion, but I can't imagine that it would go any other way. So we're going to move on.
Mr. Chair,
Excuse me.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, I don't have public comment right now. We're moving on the agenda.
It's not public comment.
Mr. Chair, I believe this is far out of your authority. This
Mr.
board
Bent, you're out of line.
was,
Mr. Bent, I'm going to ask you to please take a seat in the audience.
Uh,
We voted on this matter.
excuse me, my placement was by the authority of the Board of County Commissioners,
We're going
not
to take a
by this
5-minute
board.
break. We're going to take a 5-minute break.
The authority to place me, I was placed by the county commission, not this board. These are simply recommendations. I recommend that you seat me.
get to item number 9, the meat of this meeting. For possible action, presentation, deliberation, and decision regarding the final draft for Stage 1 of the Groundwater Management Plan for Basin 162. And I believe that the members of the Water District and all of the committee members here have a copy. I believe there was, or is one copy back there, and it is available online. As you can see, we've been at this for 21 months now, going over, there was about 180 different ideas that came forward to this committee, and every single one of them is still in this plan. Some of them have been said, we'd like to make this a priority and we'd like to do these now. Others we've said, hey, we don't want to throw these out because we've got a lot of good ideas from the community, but we're going to make that what we call Stage 2, and that those should be reevaluated in the future. That the long-term potential for overdraft in this basin is real. This is not made up. The declining water levels measurements on the valley floor for 10 years affect 85% of our current domestic wells. In addition to that, Basin 162 is over-appropriated when it comes to water rights. Because of these reasons, the state engineer has asked us, and actually been gracious enough to allow us the opportunity as a community to come up with a plan to try and address this and how we're going to move forward in the future. We have come up with this list of ideas that we would like seen done and implemented sooner rather than later. And I've just been informed that we have to take a break at the request of the fire chief. Yes. So we will take a 10-minute recess or 5 minutes.
Find a seat. If you don't have a seat, you're not going to be able to stay in the room. Actually, we don't.
They do. Hold it outside.
Why don't you hold it at the Red Center where you get people?
Under the NRS, if you cannot accommodate the people, you either have to shut down the meeting or you have to move to a place where you can accommodate these people. You cannot have a meeting. So if you want to put everybody out, everybody has to leave, not just a chosen few. They don't have chairs. It's not their fault they don't have chairs.
Okay, everyone, if I can have your attention, please. We're going to take a break until 11 o'clock. We're going to get speakers set up outside so people that do not have a seat can listen in. We cannot be overcapacitated. The fire chief has informed us that we can't do that. So we're going to come back here at 11 a.m. We'll have speakers set up outside so people can listen in, and we will reconvene at 11.
And to the credit of the state engineer's office, yeah, we're not in a critical management area, and we don't have to have a plan. But that's one of the things I agree with the state engineer. There's a lot of things I disagree with the state engineer. But the thing I do agree with is we have to have a plan. We need a plan. Do we have to have one? Is it mandated by law right now? No. But it would work to our advantage for our community to prosper if we did have a plan on water. And guess what? That water plan is going to morph into talking about subdivisions and parceling some more, and all these issues that you people brought up. Those will be addressed with a plan.
And I don't think you're going to get through this thing in one VOCC meeting.
I think that's a good point. I think you're right that by the end of January, we will have direction from both the Water District and the Board of County Commissioners, both. And then I think it would behoove us to meet January, I'm going to suggest January 26, 9 a.m. here in the Commissioner Chambers to go over the recommended changes. I have a motion by Mrs. Barnett to set the meeting for January 26, 2016, 9 a.m. here in the Commissioner Chambers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Lenny Badgers. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Okay. That passes 6-1 with Greg Dan voting nay.